about, the typical trust you find yourself putting together kind of day in and day out? What are those common trusts? What are the, as far as the different types of situations that, most of our listeners, may have a need for?
Yeah, great question. What I commonly see, trusts are set up, again, for purposes of control, and as Doug, I think, stated, to kind of control the wealth beyond their time here. And so for whatever reason, or there's many reasons why people will set up a trust. One that comes instantly to mind is just for if the person that's going to receive the assets has trouble managing those assets. What are they going to use it for? Commonly, I think a thought that comes to mind, and I've got a number of clients where the family has some wealth, they want to give it to their kids, and yet they know that if the kids were to get it at a young age, it would just completely destroy their initiative. And they don't want to do that. And so what they'll do is they'll put it in trust until a certain point in their life where they've reached an age of maturity that they feel that they're going to be better able to manage it themselves. For some, they may have family members that they may never get to that point. For example, substance abuse. A number of clients I have where they have heirs who struggle with alcohol and drugs. And really, if they were to get a large sum of wealth in their hands,
it would be gone just like that.
And it could kill them.
Yeah.
It could kill them.
I've had a few situations like that. I actually am working with a lady right now that is very concerned about how she's going to pass her money on, because her grandson, he's getting to an age where he's a pretty good athlete, pretty decent in school, but her son, the father, is just, she can't depend on him, and so she's considering, she's got substantial assets. What am I going to do about this? How do I best, as you said, control this from the grave?
Right. To benefit the heir.
Exactly.
The other, what I also will see too is goodness, I lost my train of thought. Hope we could edit that.
Well, let me just refocus you here. Let's go back and just kind of say, we're talking about retirement and estate planning work. How does this go? How do they go hand in hand with trusts and so forth?
Yeah, retirement planning and estate planning. Significant benefit if you plan early. Tremendous pain potentially if you wait. You've talked, I'm sure, to your listeners about the benefits of tax-deferred growth. How money builds upon money.
Right.
In estate planning, what can happen is, again, we don't get out of here alive. And so when that time comes, none of us knows usually when that time is going to occur. And if we don't have that estate in place, then what happens is the state is going to say what's going to happen. Never forget this story. A number of years ago, lovely couple that had been married previously, but had divorced from two other spouses. They came together 40 years ago and lived together, but they never bothered to get married. What happened is, all of a sudden, the gentleman had a stroke, a significant stroke, brain dead, and he didn't have his estate together. There was no doubt that this couple loved each other, and yet what was going to happen is it was too late now for him to construct his estate. He had no legal capacity to do it. So the state was going to come in when he passed, and it was going to give his wealth that he no doubt would have wanted to go to his spouse, or not his spouse, his partner for 40 years. It was going to go to some far-off heirs that they had no relationship with. It was just tragic. And so to put that plan in place early on will allow for, when that news comes, the family to focus on what's important, and that's family. And I personally experienced that this past year. My father died in September, and when we got the news a year and a half before, we had his estate in place. And what we did as a family, instead of focusing upon legal stuff, we focused upon what was important, and we took vacations, and we created memories.